Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Far From Eden. Before I get started, because I have forgotten on the past couple of videos, please like the video. My little dog Lola, she's not on the screen right now, she's thinking about it. She usually, when she distracts me, that reminds me to ask you guys to like, but she has been snoozing on the job lately, just literally snoozing. So since she probably will snooze some more, please hit like on the video. Let me, sorry about that, it's a little crooked. Oops. Totally professional here. Yep, that's what we do. So it's not working. I have been saying for probably the last year or so that the womanism isn't working anymore. As bad as social media has been, particularly for young people and for women, it's just terrible for us. It has not made us better people. The attention has been like a drug for us, and it's not good. And we seem to be far more addicted to our phones as women than men do. But that's just my observation. I'm not a scientist. But there's a good thing about it. There is a good thing about the social media thing, is that when I was younger, and I would say generations even younger than me, millennials probably, we didn't know much about what men really wanted or who they were. I thought you guys wanted Pamela Anderson with a career. That's like what I thought, men wanted. And then as I, have been on this journey, learning more about you guys, I've learned you don't really care about our career, you don't really care about our education, and you don't want, there's certain things you want like on a poster and other things that are very different that you would want in a wife. There's recreational purposes and there's wife and mother material. And that so many men out there before basically women ruined it, they wanted families. I never knew this. So guarantee you, neither did the other women of our generation. We didn't know. And we cared because we always want guys to like us. We always will want male attention. It's verifiable. Just go outside and look around. Women like male attention. We just do. We're wired that way. I'm saying all this to say that women of today have an opportunity to actually hear that being a wife and a mother is an option. That you could have a job where you homeschool your children, cook all the food healthy from scratch, raise a garden, clean your home, take care of your family, keep them well, nurse them back to, from sunup to sundown, there is something that women can be doing in the house for their families. There's always something we can do. I am not talking about, let's go back to 1950 housewife soft life era where you're just loading the dishwasher and washing the clothes in, the laundry room and then sitting down and watching soap operas the rest of the day. No, I do not support that. But my point is that there are women like me out there now saying these things. And so the younger women of today have the opportunity to just say, that sounds better. That sounds more like natural to me than going and being a CEO, right? Because Oops. Whoops. My paper was under the tripod. Woo! Oh, you guys. Hey, if it's your first time here, yeah, this is me. So, Trump, it's a good tester, right? How the vote went. It tests, where is everybody? Where are the people? What do they really think? Trump improved upon his 2020 performance. He improved 14 points with young women. Like, we all thought, didn't we all think the young women are all going to vote left because they want their rights, they want their health care rights? You know, actually, we can use Pig Latin, Erder May, their ABs Bay. That's what they want to do. So, but he improved on the young women vote by 14 points. Why? Well, what are young women? Social media. Social media. Not to mention the fact that like Charlie Kirk is out there on all these college campuses having people ask questions, and I'm sure he's got, videos, clips from it on TikTok, and everywhere I know he's got them on YouTube. It's wonderful. Because this whole womanism thing, it's not real. AstroTurf is a term that has been brought up a lot in the news with the Kamala campaign, because, she went from being the most unpopular vice president in all of history to all of a sudden this really popular candidate. And it's like, wait a second, how did that happen? And all these celebrities and everything. Now it's coming out that, well, these celebrities got some money. That's weird. It was AstroTurf. It was not grassroots. It was fake. Well, so was Feminism. I don't like to say the word. YouTube's not a big fan. So, for example, in Massachusetts in 1895, 575,000 women, out of 575,000 women, when they were asked, would you like to vote or would you not like to vote? Only 22,204 women said, yes, please, we'd like to vote. That is less than 4% of women. And that was in Massachusetts. That wasn't even in like Georgia, right? Women felt that they had far more power, far more influence, far more importance being wives and mothers. Raising, being right there, raising the children, being counsel to their husband. They felt that if they were to win suffrage, that it would split the family apart and split their time and energy. It would pull them outside of the family, and that didn't make any sense to them. Why would they reduce themselves to such a thing? Because being a wife and a mother used to be thought of as wonderful, powerful, and extremely important. It's not like Oprah Winfrey would say, like, oh, being a mother is the toughest job in the world. No, it's more like Bill Burr. If you can do it in your pajamas, it's not that hard. What did he say? I thought being a redheaded roofer in the summer was hard. Yeah. It's not the hardest job, but it is one of the most important jobs. And that's also why, side note, we shouldn't be sending them off to government indoctrination camps for schooling. I don't care if the Department of Education is gotten rid of, which it should be. I still don't think that they should be in charge of teaching the children. The mothers should be doing that. Anyway, it shouldn't be outsourced. That's ridiculous to outsource the teaching of your children to some stranger. No, thank you. So, it doesn't mean that the feminists aren't trying. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite little Hollywood starlets that's trying to really influence young women in particular to be, little man haters. And really, at the end of the day, woman haters, because that's what feminism is. Because you don't respect being a wife, you don't respect being a mother, you don't respect the woman's role in the family as being important. You want to take her out of that and put her working for some company? No, that's not better, and it's not more fulfilling, etc. I know, I was just going on a rant. Anyway, this is Rachel Zegler. She is the little brat who is, look at her face right there. Just look at her face. She's a little brat who is playing Snow White in Disney's live action version of the 1937 classic. We know from reading Grimm Brothers fairy tales on Sunday, 1937 was already different than the original, but it was already a little more modern, a little more woke. They had already changed it, but this one, if the reason it's taking so long to come out, in case you guys didn't know, is that the 7 dwarves were originally like this. I don't even know how to describe them. There was one dwarf in it. It was the guy who played Tyrion Lannister, the little guy from Game of Thrones. I forgot his name now. Of course I did. Oh, MS Brain is fun. Anyway, that was the only dwarf. Then there was like a trans person. There was like a lesbian. It was like the Alphabet Brigade. It was kind of like a freak show of dwarves. They weren't dwarfs. Anyway, people did not like it. So Disney had to redo it. I don't know how much they had to reshoot, where they CGI'd the dwarves. So the dwarves look like the dwarves from the cartoon movie. They're just CGI now with our little friend here, Rachel Zegler, interacting with them. So they had to already redo it because of that. Now people are calling for them to get rid of her because she won't shut up. This was her, I forget when, but it was a while ago. And then we have a bit of an update on her rant about Trump. It's not good for people to come out and say horrible things about Trump. It's not, they're getting a taste of their own medicine. Anyway, without further ado, here's a chickie.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
The leader she knows she can be.
And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
That's not a thing. Not at all. That's they totally changed the story. Fearless, fair, brave, and true. What a load of garbage.
And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
Okay. So that's her. A while back, when they thought it was going to be Snow White and the Freak Show, Oh, it's embarrassing when I laugh at my own jokes. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Okay. So here's the hot water she's in. She thought it would be a good idea to, rag on Trump and all the rest of it. By the way, little Miss Lola has definitely distracted me. She's trying to mess with my office stuff. So please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share the show with your favorite feminists. This is a great one for them to see. Might have to strap them down to see it. Okay, this was in, I know what it's in. I think it was in The Guardian, the Daily Mail. Hold on one second. I'll get my source. Just one moment, you guys. I don't want to let you down. Oh, New York Post. Same, right? Same. No, that's not the New York Post. It is the New York Post. You guys, thanks for rocking with me. New York Post. November 14th, 2024, by Alexandra Belushi. Rachel Zegler is whistling a controversial tune. After the Snow White star went on a tirade against those who voted for Donald Trump in the 1924 election, the president-elect's supporters began calling for Disney to take action. Zegler plays the titular role of Snow White in the live-action film, which is set to release in the spring of 2025, with her comments going viral on X. Outraged Trump supporters are vowing to boycott the project. Yes, boycott it. Boycott it. This is not Snow White. Snow White's my favorite Disney princess. Although now I can't stand Disney. But back in the day, she was, because, I got made fun of because I'm pale. Rachel Zegler, Not taking my kids to see this trash after the statement you put out. Disney, you need to do something about this, one social media user wrote, per the Daily Mail. Quote, I hope you get no peace when this film bombs at the box office and streaming, a second wrote. Now get it, these are women saying this to her. That's important. Others hope the young starlet loses her job and Disney shelves the movie entirely. Quote, Rachel Zegler is unhinged and a liability, end quote, a critic claimed. Quote, they should permanently shelve Snow White and distance themselves from her. Her involvement with the company alienates millions of people and poisons the brand overall. Following Trump's win last week, Zegler shared a series of messages with her 2.5 million Instagram followers. Quote, I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leaning us towards? What? She wrote in a now deleted Instagram story. Quote, I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke in fear this morning. And I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continued to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. Isn't it feel glorious when they're so sad that their evil didn't triumph? But anyway, let's continue. Quote, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace, Zegler stated. Isn't it so funny that they claim that the conservatives are full of hate? Anyway, Zegler stated, quote, another 4 years of hatred leaning, wait, I just read that. That's the same quote. hatred, leaning us toward a world we do not want to live in, leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. In a follow-up post, the actress added, there is a, quote, deep, deep sickness in the United States due to how many people voted for a, quote, man who threatens our democracy. How? People voted. Anyway. Describing Kamala Harris's loss as, quote, one that should not have been. And it certainly should not have been by so many votes. Zegler took a moment to touch on Trump's campaign. She continued, quote, it is terrifying the number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It is a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. There is no help, no counsel in any of them. I could go on. I won't. I feel sad. You probably do too. F this. Also, taking a shot at billionaire Elon Musk, who became one of Trump's most outspoken allies and has nabbed a spot on the president-elect's team, she noted, get off Elon's app. Quote, I don't use that app for a reason. He helped get that man elected, and you're giving him business, end quote, explained the Disney star. The Post has reached out to Disney for comment. The Hunger Games alum previously criticized the 1937 original animated Snow White, calling David Hand's work, quote, extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. It's like, okay. Quote, the original cartoon came out in 1937 and very evidently so, Zegler told Extra in 2022. What an ignorant little girl. These people know nothing of history, absolutely nothing of history. She knows nothing of how women actually were back then, how families were. She knows nothing of it. And it shows. Like, these people are exactly what they're supposed to be. They are just pushing out the propaganda, attempting to brainwash people, young people, into thinking this way, into hating men, into treating them the way that you guys have been treated. This is how it gets to. This culture affects the laws, all of it. So they poison the culture, and then you see what you see in family court. You see what you see in dating. You see how women can get away with saying the most terrible things, even violent things about men, and men can't even joke without practically being arrested. You know, this is how it gets there. It gets there through culture. The last little paragraph here. Quote, there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time, she quipped. At the time, Zegler also spoke to Variety about how her version of Snow White would be about becoming a, quote, fearless leader rather than, quote, dreaming about true love. Well, that's dumb, because I have lived long enough to know that trying to be a fearless leader as a woman will leave you alone, unfulfilled, confused, all the rest of it. And this is what you're about to see a bunch of women. You're about to see the cat ladies. It's going to be the age of the cat ladies and dog ladies. You know, Kevin Samuels used to say, buy a dog, die alone. You know, women don't understand. They're not going to be single and fabulous forever. They're just not. All right, so what is happening? Is Rachel Zegler being successful with this? No, this is causing backlash, not just with younger women, but there are older women. There's a lot of boomers who are, like, I remember burning their bras or whatever. But there are women like me, Gen Xers, millennials, who are like, we were sold lies, and we've figured it out now. So there's a backlash. The feminists are mad. They're mad because they want the power. They want to compete with men. They like to tear down men, destroy men. They like that they're put on this pedestal and they're called fearless leaders. They're not making anything better for anyone except for maybe the elites. That's who they make things better for. That's who enables them. That's who's always been behind them. Read Rachel Wilson's book, Occult Feminism. It tells you the background of where all of this came from, how, the Vanderbilts, the Hearsts, all of these old names that you would know if you knew any kind of American history. You're like, these are some familiar names. Not just American history, world history, Rothschild's name. These are people who were behind the feminist movement. So it is not for women. It's certainly not for men. And we're starting to figure it out. And the young women, there is actually hope for them because they've not run their numbers up. They've not, their body count, they've not run that number up yet. They've not become hardened in the world, working, outside the home, trying to be a boss babe, trying to, live like a man and not have children and not devote their time and energy to their family, which keeps them soft and sweet and all of the things that you should be as a woman. There are things we should do as humans. And I'm here to talk to the women and say what we should be doing. I'm not here to say what the men should be doing. I don't find that to be biblical. So feminists are mad. And that's one of my favorite things. Feminists argue tradwife influencers on social media may have helped Trump win over women's vote. Woohoo! Trump improved on his 2020 performance among young women by 14 points and young men by 13 points. This election, according to a Fox News voter analysis. This was November 13th, 2024. This was in The Atlantic, I do believe. I forget what it was. You guys, it's fine. Okay. Feminist academics argued social media influencers who promote a traditional family lifestyle may have helped President-elect Trump win the White House by boosting his performance with women voters this election. Tradwives are a subculture of women who believe in clear gender roles and show other women their homemaker lifestyle on social media, which often involved living on a homestead and making food from scratch. See, that's not soft life, right? If you're on a homestead, you're making food from scratch. If you're doing all that and you're homeschooling, that's not soft life. That is bringing value. Content creators like Nara Smith and Ballerina Farms, Hannah Nealman, are two of the most popular tradwife accounts and have millions of followers on TikTok and Instagram. Feminist scholars who spoke to USA Today called the boom in tradwife content on social media a political movement that has shaped the culture, particularly among millennial and Gen Z women. They also say it romanticizes traditional gender roles that Trump and his running mate, JD Vance, have promoted. Okay, Trump and JD Vance have not promoted this. Trump's daughter, Ivanka, has like a million careers. Like, she works, right? She's not homeschooling her children. His daughter-in-laws, they all have careers. He's appointed all these women. He's not traditional. That is not something he does. I don't know about JD Vance. I don't know what his wife does, but I certainly haven't seen, like, no fault divorce. I know he's pro that, but They're not exactly out there saying women should be at home. They're not saying that. They're not saying that women should homeschool their kids. You know, they think, oh, we're going to fix schooling by getting rid of the Department of Education. And that's great. But like, just get rid of it altogether. Just have it be the family's responsibility. But anyway, so I love that they have to try to make it a political movement. Same as what they talk about MGTOWs, like, oh, it's a movement. You guys are like, no, we just are doing our own thing and walking away from all of you crazy witches. Quote, tradwives are endorsing a lifestyle and they're endorsing a way of moving through the world that is very political. Feminist studies researcher Jess Rauschberg, an assistant professor of communication technologies at Seton Hall University, told USA Today. That's so funny. Political. I thought y'all said you needed to get political by voting. How are we political if we're in our homes, raising our families? Why are you scared of that? They always say, oh, women, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. It's all your choice. No, they are the ones that say, no, you can't do that, women. This is how you have to think. This is what you have to do. And it's against your best interests. Quote, there's a lot to say about the effects of romanticizing the past and how that is played in this election. Another expert, UCLA gender studies professor Juliet A. Williams, told the outlet. Expert and gender studies in the same sentence hurts my brain. Gender studies shouldn't exist. And them just telling us that there's an expert and that means that, oh, yes, whatever you say, I'm over it. I'm over it. Quote, more attention has been given to the yearning of, let's say, working class white men to return to a time when just going to work and earning a living that could support your family has a dignity to it. And when you put it that way, it seems like a very reasonable and honorable nostalgia, she continued. Yeah, that's not nostalgia. An honest day's work. Just because it's something we used to say doesn't mean it was wrong. Many of these content creators do not weigh in on political matters, the report noted, but said they are still showcasing the, quote, strong nuclear family lifestyle that Republicans are pledging to protect. Yeah. Quote, as part of their campaign to make America great again, the Republican Party has promised a return to the good old days with strong nuclear families at the crux, the report said. I don't understand. Like, can we vote again? Can we say yes again? Because all this, yes, please. Democrats lost ground with women in the 2024 election, with Vice President Kamala Harris winning the female vote by 5 points, down from President Biden's 10-point advantage in 2020. Trump improved on his 2020 performance among young women by 14 points and young men by 13 points, and boosted his share of the suburban vote by 3 points compared to 2020, according to a Fox News voter analysis. At some point, I did hear that he won the white suburban women vote, and that was very shocking to people because this was Kamala. This is a woman, and what about your health care and reproductive rights and all that? And it turns out, well, first of all, that was baloney anyway, because it just goes back to the states. But just them trying to fearmonger and Project 2025, oh my gosh, they're going to make a national ban. Guess what? Women were like, and some people will say, well, women have to go to the grocery store and the economy affects them, etc. I think that women are pushing back against this feminism stuff. They are starting to realize that, yeah, men have been getting the short end of the stick. Men are making their voices heard. They don't want to date. They don't want to date us. They don't want to marry us. They don't want to get married. The institution is against them. It's all over the place. It's all on so many podcasts. You'll hear it in the mainstream. And I think it's wonderful. I don't know what the timeline looks like as far as, well, when will these chicks be dateable? When will they be, well, marriageable? No, because the laws. We have to get the culture right to affect the laws. So that's what we need to be watching for next. But this feminism stuff, it's not working. And we all, by the way, should cancel any kind of Disney Plus, anything, just boycott Disney altogether. They're just terrible. And there was a time in my life when I thought it was insane to hate Disney and be against Disney. And I was still one of those people that I was like, oh, no, you're being too, they're not like that. But I was one of those too that was fine with the rainbow marriage. And I was like, oh, they just want to be able to visit each other in the hospital, and they just want the tax benefit, and it's fine. It's a civil union, and just like the camel's nose, right? And we've just tolerated ourselves right into, Sodom and Gomorrah. If you ask me, I don't hate anybody. I don't. But I liked it a lot better, when the things looked like a little more traditional. We'll just keep it at that. So hopefully your lives will be better, and the next generation of men will be better for them, hopefully. Women should also boycott marriage, because the institution in and of itself has nothing to do with government. They should not have that kind of power. It's a communist thing to have, church things done by the state. Marriage is by the church. It's by God. It's nothing to do with the government. So, and they shouldn't have that kind of leverage over the biggest breadwinner, which is normally the man. So anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm always excited when the feminists get told to kick rocks. It makes me very happy. So I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I hope that you are feeding your souls. I hope that you are protecting your peace. Don't let anybody steal that. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay? Bye.